Hello dear students, this is Dr. Ankur Solanki, Assistant Professor in Department of the Physics at Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University, Gandhinagar.
Now, second part of this chapter is how to get the polarized light. So there are three different ways to get the polarized light. One is by getting the polarized by Polaroid. Second is by reflection phenomena, and third is by fringence phenomena. So there are three different ways. Let's discuss them one by one. Okay, so let's consider the first case, the polarization by Polaroid. So let's say we have a Polaroid where the direction of the polarization is vertical direction. So I just represent this like vertical direction. Let's say this is my y direction and this is my x direction here. So this is the vertical. So this is in the y direction. Polarization x is in y direction. Okay. So the second case, when the natural lights, which is unpolarized light, falls on this polarizer, so what will happen? Because this is the natural polarized light, so it means the direction of the polarization is in all direction. It's polarizing in all the direction. Okay, so what will happen? The light, we will get the linearly polarized light only, which has the oscillation in y direction only, right? Other direction will be completely blocked. Okay, and let's say the intensity of the light initially, it means before the polarization is I0, then the amount of the intensity of the light we will get it after the first polarizer will be I0 by T. So it will be reduced by 50%. Okay, because the 50% light will be blocked due to the because the polarization is in only in one direction. Okay, so let's say we have another polarization, we rotate it at certain angle. Let's say we rotate it at certain angle theta. So let's consider how much will be the intensity passing through the second polarizer. Okay. So this, after the second polarization, what will be? We can get it from the Mole's law. So what the Mole's law says? It says if the intensity of the incident polarized light is I0, okay, and the polarizing axis makes an angle phi with the displacement of the incident light. Take a note, this is the angle with the incident light. The intensity of the light transmitted through the polarizer is I0 cos square phi. This will be intensity passing through the polarizer. So how we can represent it? Let's say we have intensity I0, which is proportional to or equal to E0 square passing through a first polarization, and let's say this is our polarization axis, and okay, this is our incident light direction, and while this is our polarizing direction, okay, direction of the point, and it makes the angle phi. Okay. So the lights which has the component only parallel to the polarizing axis will be passing through it. So it is passing through it. Okay, and the intensity of this light can be represented by I0 cos square phi. Okay, that's the representation of. Okay, let's see. The polarizing filter can always absorb one of the polarized component and transmit the components that is polarized parallel to a certain axis always. And in that case, it is called the polarizing axis. And the transmitted light is or intensity is always proportional to cos square phi. For generally a natural light, these values will convert it to 1 by 2. This is in the case of natural light. So how we can represent it? Let's say the first case. This is our first case where we have a polarizer over here. Okay, and we have another natural light source. Okay, so natural light source, when the amount of the light intensity passing through this polarizer will always be 50% of the incident light. Take a note this. While in the second case, let's say the incident light angle axis, or we can say the incident light makes an angle phi with the polarization axis. So what will happen? The transmitted light will always be equal to I0 cos square theta. Sorry, if they are making the angle theta, take a note. So here it is the natural light, incident is the natural light, while in that case it is the polarized light, but it is making a certain angle theta with the polarization axis. So what will happen in that case? In that case, the light which is passing through this polarizer will be equal to I0 cos square theta. Okay, if the incident light here it is I0, take a note that it should be I0 here, here it will be I0 cos square theta. While let's say if I is here, then it will be I0 by 2 here. Okay, let's take an example here. The natural light has an intensity I0. Find the intensity transmitted by the second polarizer if the angle between the axis of the two filters is 30 degree. Okay, so let's say we have an intensity I0. It is falling on the first polarizer, and the amount of the light or intensity of the light passing through the first polarizer is I0 by 2, because this is the natural light. Okay, then let's say the second polarizer axis is making an angle 30 degree, which is given over here. It makes an angle 30 degree with the incident light. Okay, then how much will be light passing? So if we apply the Malus law, so what it will be? I is equal to I0 by 2. So this is the incident light for this polarizer, into multiplied by cos square 30. So this will be 3I0 by 8. So this is our correct answer. Okay, so I hope it's clear to you all. So here we have a second example. Let's say the incident light is a mixture of natural light with intensity I1 and linearly polarized light with intensity I2. Find the transmitted intensity by the second polarizer. So it's saying this is the mixture of natural light with intensity I1 and I2. It means the light is partially polarized light. Okay, so it is incident on a polarizer 1 at an angle alpha, because this is the partially polarizer. We are assuming it is making an angle phi alpha. Okay, so let's say assume here, then how much will be the intensity passing through the first polarizer? It will be I1 by 2, because I1 has the highest intensity, we can see here, dominating light, plus I2 cos square alpha. It means the intensity I2, the polarization axis of I2 is making an angle alpha with the polarizer axis. So this will be the intensity of the light passing from the first polarizer. Okay, now it is this light is incident on the second polarizer and makes an angle beta. Then how much the light will be passing through it? How much will be the intensity of the light passing through it? So we can further use the Malus law. Then it could be cos square beta. We will beta minus alpha. Okay, so total will be I is equal to I1 by 2 plus I2 cos square alpha into cos square beta minus alpha. Take a note, this is the difference between these two angles over here, right? This is the difference between here. Now let's discuss the second case of polarization, which is the polarization by reflection. Okay, so let's consider the two mediums over here. So they are separated by here by these lines. So we have two medium A and medium B. The refractive index of medium A is Na, while the refractive index of medium B is Nb, where the refractive index A is less than the refractive index of medium B. So it's like Na is less than Nb, remember. Okay, so let's say the light which is natural light, we can say the natural light is incident on the interface of these two mediums. So the light is partially reflected, which is called the partially polarized light, and it is partially also refracted. So if you see here in a reflective component, okay, in the reflective light, this is always partially polarized light, and the perpendicular component is always higher than parallel component. Take a note, the perpendicular component is always higher than perpendicular component. Okay, while in the other case, if you see in the reflected light, which is always the light which has the component parallel is always greater than the component which is perpendicular. So these are two opposite case. So this is called the reflection of, or we can say the polarization of light by reflection. Okay, so there are two different cases over here. If you see at one angle of incidence, which is generally called the polarizing angle. So what will happen at the polarizing angle, the light which is reflected back will be completely polarized light, which having the component in perpendicular direction, while the light which is reflected back is partially polarized, having the component parallel component greater than perpendicular component. Please take a note that. So in this case, at the polarizing angle, when the theta p is equal to the polarization angle, okay, of this material, of these two mediums, then what will happen, the reflected light, this reflected light will be completely polarized. In the first case, if you see here in the first case, it was partially polarized when theta b was not polarizing angle, but once it is reached to the polarizing angle, the reflected light will be completely polarized light, while the refractive light remains unaffected. Okay, it won't be changed. So let's discuss what is the Brewster law. So this law is named on the scientist Brewster. So he discovered that when theta p is equal to the polarizing angle, take a note, when it is equal to the polarizing angle, the reflected ray and the refracted ray are perpendicular to each other. It means when the incident angle is equal to the polarizing angle, then both refracted light and refracted ray and reflected ray will make 90-degree to each other. So what we can see here, this is my incident light here, okay, and it is incidenting at polarization angle theta p, right? When, okay, when the this is my reflected ray and this is my refracted ray, so when it is equal to the polarization angle, the angle between these two will be 90 degree. So this angle will be 90 degree here, right? So from the polarizing angle, from the polarizing angle concept, we can say this will be sine theta b will equal to the cos theta p, and you are aware of it. Okay, how it can be, because this, in that case, what will happen, this is equal to theta p, sorry, 90-degree, then theta b plus theta p will equal to 90-degree again, because total is 180-degree, right? So and okay, from the law of refraction, it will be sine theta p divided by sine theta b will equal to nb over nb. Let's say if we call this equation 1 and we call this equation 2, and if we divide the equation, if we divide these equations, so what is going to happen, we divide the equation 2 by equation 1, okay, or what we can, not dividing, what we can do, we just push sine theta, we put it this value over here, we put the value from here. So what will happen, this will give us tan theta p is equal to nb over na. This is Brewster's law, right? This will be Brewster's law. Okay, let's discuss further. So from the previous slides, we have seen in reflected light, it is completely polarized, okay, in perpendicular direction, while the refractive light having the parallel component greater than perpendicular component and it is partially polarized. And another case is that the reflected light makes a angle 90 degree from the refractive light. So these are perpendicular to each other. These are perpendicular to each other. Correct. So now the question is, what is the difference between the critical angle and Brewster angle? Okay, Brewster angle, and this phenomena is sometimes also called internal reflection. So we are talking about the internal reflection now. So let's consider this figure over here. We have a medium 1 which has the refractive index n1, and we have a medium 2 which has the refractive index n2, and the refractive index of medium n1 is greater than the refractive index of medium n2. Take a note, the refractive index n1 is greater than n2, right? When the light is incident from the higher refractive index medium and it lies at an angle theta, let's say this is lying at an angle theta, then what happens? The partial light is reflected back and partial it is refracted. When we keep changing the incident angle, then at certain angle what happens? The refracted light start returning back to the same medium. Okay, it start refracting back to the same medium. It doesn't go to the another medium. So this component is crossed. So there is no more component. Okay, at this angle where the light is returned back to the same medium is known as critical angle. So this will be my critical angle when the light is refractive light is returned back to the same medium. Okay, so this can be represented by, this critical angle can be represented by the equation sine theta is equal to n2 by n1. You can easily derive it considering the equation from the previous figures as well. Okay, and if we compare it by the Brewster angle, so Brewster angle can be defined by this equations, then tan theta is equal to n1 over n2 here. So please take a note here. Here is the difference. This is the sine theta, it will be n2 over n1, while tan theta will be n1 over n2 here. So hope it would be clear to you all.
So this is the best example of the polarization by reflection. If here we see the two images, first image is taken by a camera using without any polarizing filters, while the second image here is taken by the camera having the polarization filter on the lenses. So if the image is taken without polarizing filter, what happens? The picture becomes quite glary because of the reflection of the light from the images or from the source images. But once the polarizing filter is being used on the camera lenses, so what happens is suppress the reflection, or it block the reflected light from the sources of the images, and the pictures becomes quite clear. So glare has been suppressed as significantly by the polarization filter on the camera lenses. So this is the one of the best example. So there might be lot of practical examples in our daily life where the polarization by the reflection is reduce the glaring of the light. So now this is the final method of light polarization by bifringes. So this is by bifringes. So what is the bifringes material? These are the material which generally have two different refractive index. Take a note, it should have a different refractive index in different direction of propagation. Okay, so here is the one best example is calcite crystal. Okay, once once a polarized, like plain polarized light is incident on the calcite crystal, so what happened, it is splitted in two different direction. So it will be splitted in two different direction. Generally the light which is propagating in the direction of incident light, when it is propagating in the direction of the incident light, will be called the ordinary ray. This is called the ordinary. And while the other ray which is deviating, which is slightly deviating from the incident direction, will be known as extraordinary ray. This will be, take a note that there is a drastic difference over here. The oscillation between these two waves, between these two splitted rays are perpendicular to each other. Once, let's say, the ordinary rays having the oscillation or vibration in y direction, then the oscillation in extraordinary ray will be in z direction. So these will be perpendicular to each other. But here is a one another extra properties for these crystal. Then after coming out from the crystal, both rays are perpendicular to each other. You can see these rays are perpendicular to each other. This is one of the properties of calcized crystal. So when the light, like plane polarized light or linearly polarized light incident on a crystal, it is splitted into two different rays, which will be extraordinary and ordinary. Ordinary rays is always in the direction of incident right ray, while the refracted another refracted ray will be our extraordinary, and the vibration or oscillation in between these two rays are perpendicular to each other. While once these rays are come out of the crystal, these two rays will be perpendicular to each other. Now there are two certain properties of this kind of the crystal. One is anisotropic. So these crystals are anisotropic. What does it mean by anisotropic? Means the properties in different direction of this material will be different, because this is double refracting index material. So the property, that's why this ray incident rays is split it into two different rays. But generally in ordinary glass it doesn't happen. It happens only in double refracting materials glasses. For example, these are calcite, one of the calcite crystal. And second is variable velocity. If you see, because this has a two refractive index, and refractive index is we can say refractive index will determine the velocity of light. So because it has the variable velocity or variable refractive index, the velocity of these rays will be different. Correct. So this is the polarization by bifringence. Okay. So in our daily life, every day we see the example of light polarization in the form of blue sky, in the form of blue sky and the red color of sun during the sunset and sunrise. And it occurs due to the scattering of the light. It means scattering also help to polarize the light. So how it is happens, we can see generally what is the first thing, what is the scattering? Scattering is bending of the light due to the some objects, that is okay. Generally what happens, we can see here the scattering is always inversely proportional to the lambda power 4, right? So it is inversely proportional. Take a note, it is going to be lambda to the power 4, correct? So this scattering of the light occurs due to the atoms exist in atmosphere. So scattering source are always light scattering source are atoms in atmosphere. So when we see the EM wave spectrum, we can say visible spectrum. So what, let's say this is my visible spectrum. So this is going to be lambda, right? So this will be my red color over here, which has longer wavelength, and this will be blue color over here, correct? This is the blue color, which has the lambda less. So if we say which color will be the maximum scattering, so according to here the lambda is higher for red, correct? So scattering will be minimum for red color, right? Total scattering will be minimum for red color. That's why the sunset and sunrise appears red, while the blue color is scattering, because the blue has the minimum wavelength in the visible spectrum range. So from that if we see the scattering will be maximum, the scattering going to be maximum, that's why the sky appears blue. So that's the best example of our in daily life the polarization of light by scattering. Okay, so that's the end of the chapter of polarization. Thank you very much.